Alright, bear with me guys, this is my first time doing this video and stuff, so just gonna say I'm not a professional mechanic, work on all my own stuff, used to do it for a living, changed careers, but I still work on all my own stuff, got all the tools for it. So but today we're gonna be replacing alternator and drive belt. It's on this 2013 Hyundai Elantra with the 1.8 liter. So yeah, let's just dive right into it. First, you're going to want to disconnect your negative terminal on your battery so you don't have no more power going to your alternator. Allow for sparks. That will be a 10mm socket for that. And then what I like to do next is you got your plug here. You unplug that, you got this little pop tab. Got the little pop tab plier, or not necessarily pliers, but more like a pry bar. Get underneath it and pull it up. Say get underneath it. With those, and then this plug here, it's got a little tab you're going to push in on that side, pulls right out, check everything, looks good. And then you got your main power cable here. Got a little tab on that one as well. You can do it with your finger, or sometimes you have to use a pick. Let's see, it just folds open like that. And that's also takes the 10mm socket. Oh, that is a 12, I believe. Let's see. Okay, correction, that takes a 12mm socket. That loose. Pull that nut off there. Set it to the side. Lay this out the way. Kind of use your coolant jug to hold it, maybe. Whatever it's easier. I do like to, since I'm replacing the belt, if I wasn't replacing the belt, I would still make me a little mark on this tensioner right here, but I'm going to be removing that belt completely, but I still want to be close to that area of tension, so I'm going to try to mark it down here with a Sharpie the best I can. Our alternator loose. It's going to be a 12 and a 14. This upper bolt's a 14. Loosen that up a little bit. Down here, loosen this one with the 12mm head. However way you can get to it. Pretty bad. I ain't got my lights up in my shop yet, and couldn't find my hood light I used to use when I was mechanicing full time. Cheat a little bit and try to use some electric tools. I know not everyone's got these, but it makes a big difference. especially when you're doing it every day. They are nice to have. Alright, let's see as you loosen that, the tension of your belt pulls down the alternator once you have both of the bolts loose. And if I wasn't completely changing the belt out as well, I would just pull this belt off and lay it out the way. But since I am changing the belt, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it out the way. I went ahead and I did take, since I ain't on a lift here, I took the driver tire off so I can get down to the bottom side when it comes to putting the new belt back on, so I have more room to mess with. Old belt's not terrible, no major cracking or anything. I just don't know if it's ever been changed. Car has about 89,000 miles on it. I was second owner. It's been very well taken care of, but this belt would have been okay. I would have been comfortable using it again, but I'm the type of person that once I'm into something, I just rather change it out while I'm there. Belts ain't that expensive. If it ain't terrible and you have a place to keep your old one for backup, I'd recommend it. I do. I have a hoarding problem. But yeah, the alternator was still charging. Just gotten really bad growl in it, and I don't know if y'all can see it on that camera, but the pulley's kind of walking a little bad back and forth. It was growling pretty good once it got hot on the highway, but nothing. I just didn't want to take a chance of it locking up on me, so I just went ahead and bought an alternator. I did buy an alternator off of Amazon. Ones at O'Reilly's, AutoZone, all of them remanufactured ones are pretty expensive. $300 something, so I figure if I can get a year or so out of this one for $111, it'll be worth it to me. So this bolt won't come all the way out with this motor bracket here, so that's fine. It's got a slot right here. I don't know if you can see it, but once we pry it out, it'll be all right. We're out. There's the old alternator, original. See, there's this nut right here. As you tighten down that bolt, draws this sleeve in. That sleeve tightens up against that bracket. Sometimes if you can get over there with a punch or something and hammer that back, it'll help loosen it up on that bracket and make it a lot easier coming out. Alright. Pretty nicely packaged. They had that on top. Pretty packaged, pretty nice for shipping. Shouldn't take much of a beating. Oh yeah. Had it completely cradled in foam. Also bubble wrap around the alternator. like to take my old one, compare it to my new one, make sure everything looks fairly close. So far everything's looking like it should work. 3-pin plug. This one's probably going to be a little easier. Back of his guard ain't so big. But yeah, set that there. Here. The belt I got was a Gates Micro V, part number K060505, about $19 on Amazon. On this new alternator, this is what I was talking about. See how that nut's backed up? It's kind of like a nut with the sleeve. This keeps it from spinning. Little tab here. But as you tighten up, it pulls it out and locks it into that groove. So I was able to get the bolt out after a little ways, but that motor mount was in the way. So I'm going to try to do this with the bolt somewhat started. And also, while you're in here, is a good time to inspect your water pump, check for any leaks. I'm not sure on this one, I don't know, I believe that might be the thermostat housing, I'm not real sure. No, thermostat housing's over there. This is just a neck, I believe. But I don't see no leaks. Water pump feels good. Pulley's tight. Nothing crazy sounding, so I believe we're good. But yeah, if you was to take this bracket off, there's two. Let's see, it looks like they're 12s. Yeah, 12mm bolts down here. You would have to take off to get this bracket all the way out the way. You could probably do it with a pretty good sized wrench. This pulley might be in the way, but hopefully y'all don't have to do that. But let's try to get this new alternator in here. Get it rolled around. Kind of move that line out the way as you need to. Alright. Slide it, see, real simple, slid in. And then, while I have the belt off, I'm going to go ahead and start my other bolt. I like to kind of push down. Make sure that bolt's in that groove all the way. And get it kind of snug. Nothing too crazy. Same thing down here. We'll just snug this bolt up, because I know I'm going to have to adjust the tension. So it's going to get too tight yet. Snug it up at that point, and then I'm going to pause y'all for a minute while I route the belt back on there, and then show y'all all that after I tension it up. Alright, I got my belt pretty much routed back on there. I got to loosen this tensioner up a little bit. True ways of doing that, but I just go off the feel, make sure the belt ain't over tight, but make sure it does have a little bit of bounce in it. Nothing crazy though. That feels pretty good. I'm gonna go with that right now. Alright, before I snug all that up, let me make sure this all goes back on. 12mm nut. Plug here. That's where that piece would go. Like I said, if it was my own, not my own vehicle, I'd have made sure to be more careful with that, but I'm just going to put a little zip tie in there once I know everything's good. Alright, so according to, I have DIY all data, it says this roughly in between ranges, but definitely probably should do 10 foot-pounds on here, on your power nut, 12mm nut here. On your 12mm bolt, I would do 20 foot-pounds because it said in between like 15 to 25 foot-pound range. And then on your upper bolt, it was saying about 20 to 30 foot-pound range. So I'm going to do 25 here on your 14mm bolt. I'm going to do 20 on this 12mm bolt and 10 on this here, on this retaining nut. Go until you hear your torque wrench click. Just go slow. Alright, there's that. It's got some little tabs that got to slide down in there and lock into place. It might take a little bit to reach your set point from your torque wrench. That's why you just go slow. If you don't feel right, maybe take it off and look at it. It's got a little tab that keeps it from being able to spin. Once that seat's in there, then it'll start getting to where it'll actually torque down. I'm going to do this bottom bolt first. Check my belt, it's still pretty tight. I might have to probably check it. I'm a little close. I'm kind of close to my Sharpie mark. I'd be there if this belt was a little worn already, but alright, there's 20 pounds. Adjust my torque wrench to 25 for the upper bolt. One thing I'm just going to get here, best you can. Just got to squeeze all that together. You see that nut I was talking about pulling out, sinking into the main bracket. There's the click. And after that, all you do is hook your battery terminal back up. I'm going to zip tie this down and test it out. If you want to get your multimeter or voltmeter, make sure you got, you know, charging voltage anywhere from 13 to 14 volts should be coming to your battery. Alright, thank y'all guys. Y'all have a blessed day.